one of the whistleblowers who's been revealing what they supposedly know about the Bidens, in this case about Hunter Biden having connections to China. Okay, he has now been charged with a number of different things. Let's see, arms trafficking, acting as a foreign agent for China, violating sanctions on Iran. That's fun. This is Gal Luft, arrested in Cyprus in February on US charges, but fled after being released on bail while awaiting extradition, is not currently in US custody. So this is one of the special whistleblowers that you might have heard, again, vague references to by Republicans for a number of months. Here's an example. House Representative James Comer, here's him talking about Luft literally just last week.
Tell us about this man. The Post describes him as well-connected in intelligence circles in Washington, D.C., where he ran a think tank, the Institute for the Analysis of Global Security, with former CIA Director James Woolsey and former National Security Advisor Robert McFarlane as advisors. That's who this man is. He's not just some weird guy that popped up out of nowhere.
No, he's very credible, and the people on MSNBC who made fun of me when I said we had an informant that was missing, they should feel like fools right now.
They are fools.
And this is their worst nightmare because, again, this is a credible witness that the FBI flew all the way to Brussels to interview and sent several agents to interview. This is someone that knew about CEFC in detail long before the laptop ever became public. So we feel that this is a very credible witness.
Oh, thank God. I thought we were going way too far into this story without having references to the laptop. But anyway, he said there that Luft is a credible witness. I think he meant an incredible witness, because it is fairly incredible to lead this sort of James Bondian life that he apparently has led, acting as a foreign agent for multiple countries, helping facilitate arms deals, going on the lam in Cyprus. That's incredible. I think that we can all agree on that. And I want to be clear that, like, I don't know if these charges are true. I know that the right is saying, and we're gonna get to some of what they're saying about this being a witch hunt, because anything against them is, you can act as a foreign agent, you can facilitate arms trades, you can flee the authorities, and be right about the thing that you're whistleblowing about. That is entirely true. But to act as if it's not concerning that he'd been doing all this stuff. And let me just run you really quickly through some of what we've learned over the past 2 days. Accused of, so a citizen of both the US and Israel, accused of paying a former advisor to Donald Trump on behalf of principals in China back in 2016 without registering as a foreign agent. Generally, the right seems to have an issue with stuff having to do with the Chinese government. For some reason, it doesn't bother them here. Prosecutors say that Mr. Luft pushed the former government employee, who was not named, to push policies that were favorable to China. This, from the point of view of a MAGA person, seems like it'd be the ultimate betrayal, but again, they don't care. Also alleged that he set up meetings between officials of Iran and a Chinese energy company to discuss oil deals, which would violate US sanctions. Also alleged that Mr. Luft conspired with others and attempted to broker illicit arms transactions with, among others, certain Chinese individuals and entities by working as a middleman to find both buyers and sellers for certain weapons and other materials in violation of the US Arms Control Act. So if the allegations are true, literally working to advance the economic, energy, and military interests of China and or Iran government and individuals, but they don't care about literally any of this. Again, it doesn't mean that he's not right about the stuff that he's whistleblowing about. Maybe it actually lends credence to it, Jessica, because if the whole thing is that he has information about government officials personally profiting from foreign governments, he at least can now say that he has like subject expertise. He has lived experience when it comes to this sort of thing. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Luft believing that he can't get a fair trial in New York is shocking. Like, to me, fair means even-handed, but I think to a lot of these guys, fair means heavy-handed in the direction that favors me. Like, you're a white, pretty wealthy man. Who does our justice system work for if not for you? And these are the same guys that'll be like, our world isn't fair, life isn't fair. We've worked very hard to tip the scales in our direction and develop systems that maintain those scales to be tipped in our direction. It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, look, the life is not fair. I think we can all attest to that. I think everybody, Jessica, me, you, but I think it generally tries to go above and beyond to be fair to people like Luft. Look at the opportunities he's had in his life to set up these sorts of deals. Again, incredible. Anyway, I want to get to just a little bit of the video of Luft, so let's jump to that.
Let it sink in. I, who volunteered to inform the US government about potential security breach and about compromising information about a man vying to be the next president, am now being hunted by the very same people whom I informed and may have to live on the run for the rest of my life. I warned the government about potential risk to the integrity of the 2020 elections. If convicted by a US court, would never be able to vote again in the US elections. Just think about it and ask yourself, who's the real criminal in this story?
I mean, based on the allegations, it seems like you. I mean, you did flee the authorities. Now, again, look, there have been people who have blown the whistle on the US government, on individuals in the US government, and have been relentlessly hunted across the face of the earth for years, probably for the rest of their life. That is not a thing that's unprecedented. That is not a thing that is impossible to conceive could happen again. But let's also consider the possibility that someone who has personally profited by breaking the law for literally years and is now trying to once again insinuate himself in American politics by claiming that he has information that perhaps he does not have, is using the fact that there have been these historic injustices against actual whistleblowers to defend himself in a Trumpian sort of way, implying that any accountability for anything that was done is obviously on its face illegitimate. I'm just saying that that is also a possibility. I don't have any special information when it comes to this. I don't know if Luft is like the best guy in the world or the criminal that he's being pitched to be. I'm just saying that just the fact that the Biden administration has put some charges on him does not mean that it's automatically illegitimate. Final thoughts, go to you, Jessica.
I think, the United States, our people love a criminal with a victim complex. It's just something we have in us. We love it, we eat it up. That impassioned speech about how I could be hunted for the rest of my life. The tough on crime Republicans, that's exactly what they want. Criminals in the United States to feel like even when they haven't been convicted of a crime, they believe just being accused of a crime or not listening to everything a cop tells you to do in a stop and frisk makes you someone worthy of sometimes execution at worst, but at best being arrested by the police. And we really view things in a black and white way. And when he says, who's the criminal in this situation? It can be many people, my guy. It doesn't just have to be you're a good guy and someone else is a bad guy. We love that too.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe all of you are criminals. And honestly, to go back to something that I said earlier, maybe Joe Biden and Hunter are criminals, but not for the absurd things that you're saying. Maybe they have benefited financially. Like, have you ever heard of campaign finance? Book deals, speaking tours. You guys love elites getting paid for their influence. You think you found one way that we can criticize that's outside of the bounds of what we personally want to do? But anyway, like you, I don't know if you did these deals, but you don't strike me as Assange. You don't strike me as Manning. Like again, this is like George Santos saying that he's basically Rosa Parks. Maybe you're not. Have you considered that? Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.